to Talking Down the Highway, a Beach Boys podcast presented by Strange Currencies Music. I'm Matt.
I'm Glenn.
And I'm Uncle Tim.
Well, hello, Uncle Tim.
Hi. In fact, we should all be uncles for this episode. Uncle Matt, Uncle Glenn, and Uncle Tim.
I've got some questions about all of this.
Oh.
And we're going to get to that eventually, but we banter first. Come on. We talk about just whatever the hell it is. This is where I generally come up with and other topics include, when I do the write-ups on these.
Listen, Uncle Matt, cut it out with
Cut it
your
out.
criticisms.
Oh, dear.
All right. Well, hey, this podcast, I don't know the date that it's going to drop, but our Glenn, when this podcast drops, our Glenn's going to be in Europe.
I'll be in Europe, so we're going to have to cram some extra episodes in. Does that mean I'm going to have to listen to awful Beach Boys, 80s awful Beach Boys music before I go?
Your European trip is going to be be marred by having to listen to the worst album.
We should arrange some kind of remote recording so he's forced to listen to that stuff on the plane on the way.
No!
Yeah.
I'm going to have to download just really bad Beach Boys music for my plane trip to Europe.
Well, actually, the next two Beach Boys albums that we're covering are also not available on Spotify. So
You could just record your comments in advance.
So
and we'll insert them into the episode.
Are you
be
saying we're not talking about a Beach Boys album today?
we're not talking about a Beach Boys album. We'll get to what we're talking about in just a minute. We're bantering. Come on.
All right. Yeah,
You were just talking a minute ago.
I need to lower my Glennergy.
Yeah, for Europe.
I guess. Do I have a noise meter on my microphone that I could a compressor I can add?
I mean, can you do an Italian accent? Because you might not need to tone down the Glennergy at all if you just do a little Mario with it. Yeah.
It's a me. It's a Michael Love. I'm wearing a Dodger.
Is it still okay to make fun of Italians?
I don't think so.
You know what? It's funny.
Right now it is, but I'm sure decades from now people are going to look back and this and be like, oh, that guy. Yeah.
I apologize.
Whatever. Christopher Columbus was an asshole.
Are you going to Germany?
I'm not going to Germany.
Okay, because yelling really loud in Germany, there's bad history with that.
We won't be doing that. We might be speaking some German in Swiss. Coincidentally, my wife's cousin lives in Switzerland, and she doesn't speak any English.
Really?
The way they communicate is they both have high school equivalencies in German, and so they speak sophomore level German. That's how they communicate. It's kind of sweet. Yeah. So we're
not a lot of effort in that family, just in general. Well,
so we're gonna do little Switzerland, little Paris, little London. Yeah, it's gonna be good times.
Are you going to eat a croissant, as Mike Love would say?
I don't know.
Champs-Élysées.
Now I don't want to listen to the Beach Boys while I'm there.
La Tour Eiffel.
You guys are ruining this.
I've learned everything that I know about Europe from Mike Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
We're gonna take a little bit of England home with us. We'll be wringing it out of our socks.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Francoise Hardy?
I think it's Francoise
Hardy.
Yeah. R.I.P.
I think we mentioned her a few episodes back as well. We should have. Strange Currency's favorite, but yeah.
I do get to think about what quintessential French album am I going to pick up on?
Oh, there was that baby from the 90s. Remember that song where it was just a baby babbling in French? Mm-hmm. That was they should.
I might see if I can
maybe
find
get that whole back catalog going.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have any Francoise Hardy, you should.
No, I do.
You do have some.
Yeah. And the baby.
Did you ever end up watching that video that I sent you?
Yes, so good.
So good, right? So good.
You guys talking about Wipeout by the Fat Boys?
I'm not even going to try, but no, it's this Francoise Hardy.
Yeah, her first big, breakout and hit. The video is glorious.
It's on.
Did she collab with any 80s rap hip hop groups?
8mm, 16mm, whatever.
That sounds lame.
No,
she's on
a beautiful piece of film. Yeah,
on a roller coaster.
Is it surrealist?
It's great.
Like the Fat Boys.
You need to watch it. It's
Wipeout.
I'm really taking a rare moment of sincerity here to come on, Tim.
Fisheye lenses and boxers.
It's a beautiful piece of film. It's great.
Does anyone at any time get magically changed into beachwear from their like Wall Street, New York kind of clothing? Because that's what happens
that
in
happens.
the. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's not so bad.
We're providing some alternative viewing opportunities to our audience, because after we're done talking about what we're going to talk about this week, they're going to feel like they need to watch something, and we should recommend this music video that they should watch.
I can recommend a nice
And
television program.
imagine that Glenn's in Europe, and it's more Francoise Hardy. Am I saying that wrong?
I'm sure there's a French.
I'm sure there's a French
Francoise.
thing. Francoise
I mean, the
Hardy.
only thing
You should be watching that music video instead of
good.
It's confusing because Francois is like a
today.
male name, but Francoise I think would be the
Francoise.
female version. But
All right.
point is, our listenership doesn't care about any of that.
They don't.
They care about family-friendly programming
Okay.
from the late
Wholesome.
80s and
Wholesome.
early to mid-90s.
Yeah. And
Well,
we're going to take a
wholesomeness.
quick break and we're going to come
Children.
back and talk about such stuff.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and this week, I've kind of been looking forward to this one, I'm not going to lie. This week, we are talking about the Beach Boys on the classic American sitcom Full House.
Right.
Wow.
So
Full House.
it's going to take a lot of context.
Did you guys grow up watching Full House?
Yeah.
TGIF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what time it was on? Is it like, it was like prime time?
Yeah, it was
sitcom,
Like 7
right?
o'clock. It was a
Yeah.
heavy hitter for years.
TGIF. It was this.
There with Urkel.
Yeah, Urkel, Family Matters, Step by Step.
Yeah, that one kind of
That was later, but
wasn't a big fan of.
no, as long
liked
as you
all
watch,
of those,
Full
yeah.
House and Family Matters. That was the jam. That was the
Didn't
evening
Urkel make an
family.
appearance on Full House too?
I think so, or if not, his alter ego.
I think he eventually did. Yeah.
They did all kinds
The
of
crossover
like
that America needed to have.
That's right.
The crossover that America also needed to have was the Beach Boys appearing on this show, right? For our generation, and we got a little bit of a glimpse into this last week when we were talking about Still Cruising and specifically Kokomo. This is how our generation was kind of introduced to the Beach Boys. I mean, Tim had mentioned that Flight of the Navigator might have been the very first time he heard Beach Boys. I know my parents had a Beach Boys Greatest Hits cassette that we'd listen to in the car when I was a kid. But Flight of the Navigator definitely would have been an early exposure as well too. Kokomo, definitely early overexposure. And Full House, like this is kind of where my initial, hey, this is the Beach Boys. These are those guys.
Right, and Kokomo, well, not Kokomo, but like the reason this even happened is because Stamos had already been friends with the Beach Boys and played with them, live in some capacity.
Yeah, going back a few years.
Yeah.
Right? This is well before he had Full House.
Right, he had some other show. Like I don't really know a lot about Stamos' career before Full House, but he must have been known.
He was on like
enough.
I feel like he was on a telenovela or something, like a
Maybe.
daytime soap opera or something.
But then he's in the Kokomo video. This is before Full House. I think.
Was he the Generalissimo?
Full House starts in '87, I think.
That sounds plausible.
So actually, yeah, maybe the Kokomo video came out after, I suppose. Well,
yeah, I mean, they were coasting on some star power, I think, at that point, with all those little mug shot, mugging at the camera,
Yeah.
John Stamos things. So he was a thing by that point. At least that's the way I interpreted it.
Wow, it was Webster and Mr. Belvedere on Thank God It's Friday, and then Full House came in and took over Webster.
Okay.
And then it was Full House.
I thought you were looking up Stamos' early work.
No. Then
He was actually Webster.
It was Full House, Family
love that little
Matters,
guy.
Full House, Family Matters, and then Perfect Strangers.
Ooh.
Balky Bartokomous.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
And
Don't be
Cousin
ridiculous.
Cousin Larry, not to be confused with Uncle Joey.
So, no, hold on now. Let's set up a little bit about Full House. So yes, I did just find out 1987 is when it begins. It's a complicated show.
My main question is...
Hold on. There's a very complicated family dynamic here in this show. You have Danny Tanner, the father of 3 girls.
Right.
Who are played by 4, but he is the father to...
It's like not that full of a house at that point.
Well, it's fullish.
It's full.
Okay, so he's got
how
3
does it get full?
Hold on. So Danny Tanner, the patriarch.
I have to know.
There is no matriarch. Tragically, his wife was killed.
In the pilot episode?
I don't think she died in the
shot
pilot.
by drug dealers?
No, she died in a car accident, I think, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what
figured the pilot was
circumstances
R-rated.
of her death were. But after the birth of their 3rd daughter, Michelle, played by the famous Olsen twins, you have the...
they both acted simultaneously and said all the lines at the same time. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was weird. But that's how stereo, works, right? You had the oldest daughter, Donna Jo,
DJ.
or DJ for short.
Tanner.
That's all the kids, right?
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. I'm joking. You always forget about the middle kid. I'm a middle kid. Glenn's a middle kid. Yeah. Tim, you're the older.
I'm a younger.
You're the younger.
Yeah.
The baby.
Too, yeah.
Stephanie.
You're the Michelle of the family.
Sure.
Now, Stephanie, the middle daughter.
Stephanie could really
dude.
dance.
We'll get there. We're going to go through these episodes. Like, this isn't just going to be about... Yeah, we're talking about the whole episodes.
Okay, all right.
So that's the family. However,
Poor single dad can't hack it by himself.
He's got to have some help.
He needs help.
And so moving in with him is his brother-in-law, Jesse. Jesse's an interesting character. He is originally on the show. He plays... his name was Jesse Cochran originally. And then eventually, at the request of John Stamos, he wanted the character to be of Greek origin, like John Stamos is. And so his name was changed to Jesse Katsopoulos.
Right.
He's a rocker. He's a rocker. Such a rocker.
He's the cool uncle.
He's the cool period. Whatever.
Sorry, cool.
He is a badass. He's fronting a band called Jesse and the Rippers.
I've been listening to a different podcast during this whole thing, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I've just been playing poker. So
anyway, so then there is the other guy. This is where the house starts to get really full.
Uncle, quote unquote.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Joey.
I don't believe they ever refer to him as Uncle Joey. And this is a long-standing argument and debate with...
I don't think they do.
Yeah, with my brother, who insists that they called him Uncle Joey. And I don't believe that there's ever a single instance on the show in which he's referred to as Uncle Joey. Now, does that mean that I'm going to have to watch all 192 episodes to find out?
Yep.
Yes, it does. And it's a good thing that I'm a teacher because I've got all summer to do this. But I don't think he's ever referred to as Uncle Joey. I don't know.
Because isn't he like college roommates or something with Danny?
Yeah, the best friend since childhood, I guess. With Danny.
And then Joey and Jesse become kind of like the two comic relief counterpoints. And they start writing music jingles. They start a business together, and so they're like partners.
Yeah.
According to Screen Rant, which they know all apparently. He's never referred to as Uncle Joey on the show.
Wow.
Yep. See,
just Joey, just some weird dude living in the
whatever.
Some weird fucking dude.
I'm gonna go home and read all the Berenstein Bears novels.
Does not pay rent.
No rent. Yeah.
Is the worst comedian ever.
He really is.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, awful. Cut it out. Give me a fuck.
He's also
hey, you know what? Real estate
Stupid.
in San Francisco is, it's impossible. So, of course, he's probably just a squatter. Yeah. One of those pink lady houses.
This guy was just living in the basement when we got the place. Yeah. Yep.
So that's the show.
That's
They
the show.
get into antics and
the kind of antics that a wholesome American family would get into.
Yeah, I have thoughts on just the nature of this show and this era, but I don't know if we need to get into it now.
You can. We're still in the intro here, but
just like So
I'm not gonna lie. This might be a long episode. Just put.
I gotta go to work at some point. You watch this today, with Today Brain. It's like this is 100% children's programming. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it was family programming.
It was, yeah.
And just like, what was it about the American psyche that, like, this was just like the whole family would watch this, adults would watch this and enjoy it. Like did you guys watch BoJack Horseman?
No.
God, you really should.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of commentary on this kind of era of sitcom, how like just so falsely wholesome it is, and just like, haha, Dad, you sure told him, blah, 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 spilled chocolate milk all over the floor. Just dumb baby shit like that. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, oh, that's comedy. Considering like how good sitcoms were in the 70s and like dealt with actual issues and stuff, and were a little bit more edgy and just funnier. Like this watered down, anemic, like horrible landscape of sitcomery just kind of cropped up there in the late 80s and early 90s. And I don't know what the deal is with
it. Was a whole nother thing.
It's Miller and Boyette's fault. Miller, Boyette, those are the two people that they produced.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s were super, super, conservative.
Family
You got, you got Reagan in the White House, and I don't know. There's just this bland conservative streak in much culture of the 80s.
Yeah.
And Full House just kind of fit in with that. Now you mentioned I don't know if my parents ever really watched. My mom probably.
Oh, we
did.
totally watched.
I don't think my dad would have had a whole lot of patience for Joey in particular. But
his antics.
Yeah, I mean, it was family programming, but it definitely felt more like a kids show.
Yeah, like it. I mean, like something that would be on the Disney Channel or something like that in more recent years, I suppose. I don't know. I don't really even know, but yeah, just definitely. There's so much reliance on the little kids and like. Yeah. The Michelle, like the youngest, she can like barely talk, and then even the middle daughter in the early seasons is kind of like mush mouth baby talk. Yeah, it's like what the fuck?
How rude!
Like the first episode we're gonna be talking about, it starts off with a conversation between Michelle and Stephanie, and it's just like this whole scene is just these children like babbling at each other. What the fuck? Yeah, but it was like cute or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I did not have a great time watching these episodes. I'll tell you that.
Well, so TV was in a weird place in the 80s.
It was.
It took, Seinfeld and The Simpsons.
Well, I mean,
Twin Peaks.
Good stuff starts to crop up near this time. Fresh Prince starts in 1990. 1,000 times better. Still that sitcom format, but like more, issues oriented. And obviously it's like, a black family is at the center, which was, again, more common in the 70s. And we had this like weird era of bland whiteness in the 80s. But I don't know. Bad. It's all bad.
All right. Well, hey, I think we got our context out of the way, right? Anything else you guys wanted to mention for context? No. We're going to dive into, because the Beach Boys are in 3 episodes. 4, really, because one's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
I actually watched a 5th episode because, it's a classic.
Is it related? Is it?
Not at all. Uh-huh. But it's one that looms very large in my... it lives rent free in my head.
Joey does Suicide by Cop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that was a very special episode.
Kidnaps Kimmy Gibbler and threatens to blow her away.
Yep. We'll get there.
Shot by the police and falls out of Nakatomi Plaza. Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and talk about the first appearance, Beach Boy Bingo.
And we're back talking
still vomiting.
Beach Boys and Full House. And today, or this segment, we're talking Beach Boy Bingo. Beach Boy Blanket Bingo.
Right.
I think this was season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2, episode
midway through the season.
6 or 7 or something.
I got some notes right off the bat.
Okay.
Milk in a pitcher? What the fuck?
They probably got in a bag. You know, some places would get milk. I think it's Canada actually that does the milk bag thing.
That is. But milk in a pitcher?
Yeah.
Like, and who drinks milk? Like,
I-
really?
I like milk. I don't really drink it very often, but sometimes.
Milk.
Milk.
Yeah. We already tackled the Is Joey Ever referred to as uncle?
I watched this whole episode without taking any notes, and then I watched the further episodes and
I got
decided that I'm not going back to rewatch this episode.
I have a
so
lot
my
of
notes
notes
are
on
fully
all of
based
them.
on memory.
Right off the bat, I wanted to ask you, gentlemen, the question: who's more punchable, Joey or Jesse?
Joey.
Yeah, Joey.
The correct answer is Mike Love.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joey has that big jaw, though. I feel like he might be able to hold up to a few facial punches.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a glass jaw.
We get our first glimpse into something that I really don't like here, and we'll hold off on this. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. But the premise of the episode here is that the Beach Boys are due to appear on Danny Tanner's show.
He's a TV show.
Good Morning
host.
Vietnam. Yeah.
Wake Up San Francisco is
that's right.
Danny's
That's right.
morning show.
So
he hosts.
they're going to show up on there. Now, they cancel. They can't land the plane because of fog.
In San Francisco.
In
Are you
San
kidding me?
Francisco, yeah.
Fog in San
Fog in San
Francisco?
Francisco,
That never
apparently. Now, I'm
happens.
going there this week. I'll investigate this and
Okay.
see if this fog thing is really true. But anyway, Danny now has to improvise because he finds out when they're supposed to be walking on stage that they have not landed, which is something that theoretically should have happened hours before.
Right.
And now he has to improvise. What does he do? Well, he grabs a guitar with a terrible fucking headstock.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, this episode was clearly sponsored by BC Rich.
Yes, clearly. So he pulls out this guitar with a terrible headstock, and he starts playing
Good
a Beach Boys
vibrations.
classic,
Yeah.
Good Vibrations.
See,
Right?
finish your point, but I'm going to say that I
I've got
appreciate about
I've got a real
this.
problem. So he's doing this whole thing, and he's like, yeah, and then this part comes, and then
And
this
then,
happens.
and then this guy sings, and then this guy sings.
But then he says, and then a machine goes, ooh. Here's the thing, Danny Tanner. You should know what that fucking machine is called.
well,
That machine is called what, gentlemen?
it's a theremin.
A theremin.
It's an electro
Tannerin.
themin. It's
Yes.
not a tannerin. Tannerin came later.
Tannerin came
Tannerin
later.
was named after
Tanner.
After
You
Danny
guys
Tanner.
are such nerds.
Still,
Oh my god.
the guy should know what the fucking machine is. Give me a break.
He's just playing
This
a
is-
Tanner on
this
TV.
Give
This is
your
prime
audience
time
some
television.
credit here.
So there are little hints of evidence throughout these episodes that, you know, the people behind the show, the actors, actually are real Beach Boys fans. Like this part, you know, Bob Saget has a decent singing voice. I like the fact that he does all these different parts. It's like for comic effect, but at least he like knows the song. Or, I don't know if he knows the song, but somebody knew the song well enough to kind of like do that gag, kind of spell that gag out, which I like. Also later, I don't know if this is jumping ahead, but like there's a version of a song that plays that is like an earlier version. Do you want to explain the premise of the episode? Go on with what you're saying. Like they don't land there, but then there's a radio contest.
There's a radio contest, to decide who somebody's going to get only two tickets to go see the Beach Boys. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
They're gonna come in a limo to the person.
I think we can already see trouble on the horizon because, as we've described before, this is one rather full house.
Everyone's a fan.
Everybody
of the
wants
Beach
to go.
Boys. Yeah.
Everybody wants to go. Well,
And there's only one phone line.
there's only one phone line. And who would win? DJ.
Yeah.
DJ wins. And now she's got a real like Sophie's Choice thing on her hands here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she can only take one person and the others have to die.
the others all will die. And she has a choice to make here of who is she going to bring? Who does she choose, guys?
She chooses Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, Uncle
She chooses
Jesse.
the cool, hip rocker.
No, in DJ's defense, DJ selects the person who is known as the family musician
Yeah.
to see the musician.
Even though we just saw evidence that Danny can
Danny,
play
yeah.
guitar
That's
and
true.
sing.
That's true.
I like what Danny did on that guitar more than anything I've ever seen Joey play on a guitar.
Well, Jesse. Well, Joey
Sorry,
too.
yeah. Sorry, Jesse. Or Joey, for that matter. Like, let's be honest. There was a 0% chance that DJ was going to pick Joey.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, she was more likely to take her baby sister
Right. Right.
than to take fucking Joey because Joey is the worst.
Well, here's what I was going to say though about that radio contest. So it's a name that tune. DJ inexplicably is the one who calls in, even though she can't I mean, she's a fan, I guess. They don't play the tune until after she calls, whatever. Yeah. But the other family members are on the other line listening in, and what they play is a little snippet from Help Me Rhonda, but it's the mandolin intro from the Today version, which is like not the single version.
Yeah, and I hope somebody got fired for that.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's kind of cool. That's another little hint at like, oh, somebody
is a big fan.
Somebody knows their stuff.
Yeah.
Probably Stamos.
Or they couldn't get clearance from...
I don't know, but then the gag is that she doesn't know the song, so she says, "Help me, Gibbler," because Kimmy's there, and then the DJ says, "Can you say that again? Help me, what?" And then the guys burst in and they say, "Rhonda."
So they all win.
They really, yes. And DJ did not deserve it.
She did.
She was the seventh caller, though.
Yeah,
and that's
only
the
because Joey fucked everything up by having Jesse pause so he could say, "Okay, caller 1, caller 2, caller 3,"
which is the same gag
idiot
that they used in Who's the Boss.
Really?
Remember that?
Ugh, I don't
remember
that
episode of Who's the Boss. Tony Danza. There's another winner.
Anyway, so
did they ever find out who the boss was?
The boss is back in New York.
Angela. That was proven by Abed in Community, actually.
The boss is in New York. Then the series finale, he comes and bumps off the whole family.
Interesting. All right, so anyway, she chooses Jesse, which, all right. Danny takes it really bad. Yeah, he's trying to hide it. He's like, that's all right. I got to take her to Smurfs on Ice, which is probably, honestly, if I had a choice to go see Smurfs on Ice or Mike Loves Beach Boys, it's not an easy choice.
I mean, it's hard to ice skate in those costumes. Yeah. So, I would be more impressed with Smurfs, I think.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there's some other stuff. So, there's the whole thing, Jesse and Danny in Jesse's room, and Danny's being a little bit of a, I was going to say, Danny's being a little bit of a bitch about this whole thing. But then I have a note in here, these people are all bitches, really, right?
Yeah.
But Jesse has a jukebox in his room. Like,
he's got a child's bedroom in his brother-in-law's house. It's very weird. But he gives him he actually gives him some like a good talk about how, like, you're her dad. You're gonna walk her down the aisle. You're gonna on all this stuff. He's jealous of him for having this family life or whatever. Not jealous, but and so that changes kind of Danny's tone. He goes in and apologizes to DJ and says it's fine. Take whoever. But then Jesse comes in and says, "I'm not going." Yeah. And then Danny says, "I'm not going." So, of course, Joey
throws the whole thing into a fucking shitstorm.
Then there's a gag where Joey and Stephanie, is she the middle one? Yeah. They're like, "Okay, we'll go." But that doesn't happen. Yeah. But then they get a phone call from a limo. Yeah. Yeah. The Beach Boys are outside.
They're outside.
What are we going to do? Actually, the joke was that all Stephanie says on the phone is the word "no" over and over and over again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she hangs up and says, I told them that no one's going. Yeah. They must have been like, is this person going? Is that person going? And then so, of course, they panic. Everyone panics and runs downstairs because they're afraid they're going to
All she was doing, by the way, was relaying accurate information at that moment in time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's done nothing wrong.
That's right. Stephanie Tanner did nothing wrong. Yeah. They go downstairs. They open the doors to the Beach Boys.
Yeah. They're there.
And it really is all of them.
I got notes here.
Wow.
Lots of them.
Brian's there.
Brian is there, but he definitely does not want to be there.
He does not want to be there.
He's got a couple lines, though.
Oh, he's got lines.
But he sounds completely
He's standing at the back. He's just kind of like, a little bit dead-eyed.
He has the joke of they don't let the concert start without us. Yeah. It's kind of a good line.
Unfortunately, these days, they do let Beach Boys concerts happen without Brian, because fuck that. But he doesn't want to be there. Let's see. Al looks like a little bit of a troll.
Oh, yeah.
His pants and jacket are definitely a thing.
Has he got like a starter jacket on or something?
Yeah.
Bruce has got a tucked-in shirt with no belt.
Yeah, that's also there. Button your fucking shirt, Mike. Oh. Like,
was it completely unbuttoned?
Not completely, but
kind of the top part?
He's leaving a little bit open there for the ladies.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's referred to by Stamos as
Dr. Love. In the other episodes too. Like, what is that based on anything?
No less than 3 times.
Is that because of his status as a TM teacher or whatever?
Mike is clearly trying to start something here. Like, I want people to refer to me as Dr. Love.
But is there a basis for it beyond that?
God, no.
Okay.
No.
Dr. Love.
So then they hang out. They're like just fucking hanging out at the house because apparently they got nowhere to be. They're there to pick up a kid for, in a limo. And they're like, oh, we got hours to hang out and
Right.
play fucking Kokomo.
Well, they're trying to figure out who's going to go to the concert, and they don't know. So, what Dr. Love does, he
Beach
says...
Boy Huddle.
Well, the Beach Boy Huddle was actually kind of a good gag, I thought. They get together and they just say, what do they do? They just sing part of, I forget what it was, but they just harmonize for like 2 seconds, and then they're like, Bruce says, well, we talked about it, and that's a good gag. But Mike, Dr. Love, he can't
Don't encourage this.
Dr. Love.
How about Dog Turd Love?
There you go.
He can't not be creepy. Everything he says,
so-
he literally says, let's order a vegetarian pizza. And he says it exactly like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They get a pizza, they go and they jam out to
And
Kokomo.
is one pizza really going to feed all of the... There's 5 Beach Boys there.
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 in Bruce Johnston. They got all those people. We already said a very full house.
Even fuller now.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. You need more than one.
You know,
pizza.
Eugene
Come on.
Landy's lurking around somewhere. He needs a piece.
Probably was. God.
Yeah.
So I forget. Basically, smash cut to the concert. They all get to go.
Well, there's another gag, another
Yeah.
running, part of the plot is that apparently Jesse and Joey write commercial jingles now or something, and so there's this whole thing. They're trying to get the Beach Boys to,
Listen to
endorse
their
and
tape.
listen to this stupid jingle that they've
It was
done.
like they want them to record it or something too. Isn't that implied? Like if the
something
Beach
like
Boys
that.
sang this. Yeah.
And Mike is really happy that, hey, for the first time in forever, nobody's like pushing a, demo on us or whatever. Because he's got way too much integrity, right, to go for those kind of shenanigans. So, yeah. All right, that's episode 1. I mean, they play Kokomo again.
Well, there's a whole concert scene, and the baffling thing is, it looks like it was shot at a real concert.
Yeah.
It's like in a stadium with the stands are full
the
of
Tanner
people.
family.
So they had this thing set up at a concert.
It looks like it was at...
Okay, everybody, we're gonna do, been on for a year at that point. You guys know Full House. We're gonna have a little guest
TV
appearance by
taping,
Full
yeah.
House.
Yeah.
Probably, my note was maybe it ruined the whole concert for some people, but I'm sure it was terrible to begin
I
with.
don't know, but in the shots though, everybody like paired up, like Joey was jamming out with Bruce or whatever on the
Sounds
keyboard.
about right. Yep.
And Stamos and Dr. Love were sharing a mic and
Stop it!
French
Don't
kissing.
encourage it.
French kissing, and they all had different like people. Al was rocking out with DJ, but Brian was by himself.
Well, and did you notice
Really?
when the
Yeah.
camera is near him, you hear some that sound of him singing, and it's like just awful.
I noticed that.
What were they? Were they singing Kokomo at that point? Yeah, and I don't even remember, but he was not doing well. So they do Kokomo, and then they do Barbara Ann,
That's what it was, Barbara Ann.
And,
it's fun. Yeah.
and it's bad,
Yeah.
and they're all dancing.
But
up
in the
there.
midst of all of this, Joey sneaks in and
He
drops
does, yep.
the tape
Oh,
in
that's
Mike
right.
Love's pocket.
And once again, the Beach Boys are relevant.
and then he does Suicide by Cop.
You know something I was wondering through this whole arc, somewhere in the middle of all of this is when the Mike Love Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speech happens too.
Oh.
So they've already, I think, maybe appeared on Full House for the first time. I think, it seems to line up there.
What that was 88 or 89? When was the Hall of Fame?
I think early 89 is when the speech would have been. They were part of the 88 class, so I think that would have made the speech in 89. Kokomo would happen. I think some of this is just like adding to the fact that Mike Love's speech was coming from a place where he was like, I am hot shit right now. I've number 1 hit with Kokomo. I was on Full House. People are calling me Dr. Love. And, there's this, maybe that goes into that whole, terrible, listen to that episode. It's our best one, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
yeah.
All right. Speaking of episodes, let's take a break and we're going to come back and talk about the second Beach Boys appearance
They
on
have
Full
not
House.
been on 2 episodes.
No,
just
let's
stop.
find out after the break.
All right, we'll be back.
we're back to talk about Beach Boys on Full House. The second appearance of theirs was the season finale of season 3, called Our Very First Telethon or something like that.
Yeah.
The premise...
That's a lot.
Did they do, like, was the Jerry Lewis thing, did they really do these long marathon, like 24-hour telethons?
Apparently, and it's such a like sitcom trope, too.
Yeah. Is it? Well, yeah.
Seinfeld has one.
True, but I don't
Parks
think
and
that
Rec
was-
has a
Were they, like, a 24-hour thing?
the Parks and Rec one definitely
It is.
was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's this weird sitcom trope. Like, oh,
As if, like, the
telethon.
same host would be hosting it for the entire time, which is, I don't know.
Because people want to watch that.
And this starts off, again, with a stupid little babbling child for that little teaser scene, and Danny with a corkboard laying out, the guests for the telethon. So the gag here is that he has stayed up all night. He has not slept going into the 24-hour telethon.
Yeah.
During
That's
which
the
he falls
gag,
asleep.
But
Yeah.
one of my notes here is this show just isn't very funny.
No.
It's not. It was painful to watch.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the premise, the setup. Now Danny is co-hosting this telethon.
Yeah.
Guys, I think it's time for an episode of Heroes and Villains.
All right.
That's right, it's time for Heroes and Villains. We'll discuss the heroes and the villains, whatever we happen to be talking about this week. And this week we're talking about Full House. Wow. Okay. Lots of heroes and villains. All right. We've already established, as always, Brian is a hero. He doesn't want to be there, but he's doing what he apparently is supposed to, contractually obligated to do by showing up here. So he's a hero. There's a lot of villains going on here. Okay.
Miller, Boyette.
Yeah, Miller and Boyette, whatever they are. And I mean, we've already talked about Joey is a fucking villain.
I mean, he wronged Alanis Morissette.
Well, yeah, yeah. Jesse or John Stamos, fucking villain.
Yeah.
Danny has a new co-host. And Danny's co-host is one Becky,
I see where you're going with
future
this.
Becky,
Becky!
Kotsopoulos or whatever.
I don't think she's a new co-host, right?
She is, I think, relatively new at this point. She was not in the first episode that we watched or that we talked about, right?
Because
so she's
Danny
new to the
was
show.
a sportscaster initially,
Was,
and then they
and
moved him
becomes
to the
a
morning show, and then they
host.
paired them up. I
She
think.
then becomes the new
don't know
host
if
and
that
the
was
love
probably
interest
before this.
of
Eventually.
Jesse. But she's played by one Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin.
Heroes and villains
Yeah,
here. Lori Loughlin, infamous for the whole USC, my kid's a
Right.
champion rower or whatever
Don't you know who I am?
scandal thing.
What do they call it?
And
The
there's-
admissions fraud.
Admissions fraud. Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of nepotism involved in that. But here's the thing. Nepotism is just apparently a theme in this show because why is Jesse's band playing in this telethon? Why does Joey get a comedic spot in this telethon? Why are the Tanner girls dancing and singing in this telethon?
They also have to answer the phones, though.
There's all kinds of fucking nepotism.
they're volunteers.
Yeah, they're front row. They're on camera. This is nepotism central, man. And that just makes so much sense that this is where, maybe Lori Loughlin gets this idea that my kid can do whatever the fuck she wants to do. She's a world champion rower because, why the hell not?
Yeah.
So, villain.
Villain. Yeah. Lori, yeah.
My note,
We need a hero, though.
my note though on Lori Loughlin is Aunt Becky hot.
Oh. Yeah.
And not beholden to the 80s, fashion and style. Like, not just in this episode, but the next one. She looks like a very, timeless or maybe future woman.
future woman.
Coincidentally,
This is
she's
how she got
wearing
away.
A quite skimpy, magician's
true.
outfit.
Yeah. Magician's assistant. Yeah.
Magician's assistant outfit, and
Sure, but that's not even it.
Yeah.
She's a good looking person.
Yeah.
That's
Fine.
how she got away with the scamming later.
I'll give
most
you that.
likely.
Here's the thing. You want to look for more heroes, but the more you dive in, you find more villains. We already talked about Joey, a villain, but also, just his Dave Coulier, also kind of a villain, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
DJ DJ Tanner, played by
Candace
Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Also a fucking villain. She's like one of these. She left the Hallmark Channel. Apparently, she was one of these.
They were
it was
too
Hallmark
liberal for her?
Yeah, it was too liberal because they kept showing gay couples in their films. So she joins up with some Christian network that's only going to celebrate traditional marriage. So screw her.
And her brother's pretty bad too.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Saget was a little creepy, I guess, too. I think
He was not creepy.
I've heard some. Yeah,
I've heard nothing but good things about him. He was a dirty comic.
Well, yeah, and that doesn't bother me at all. Like, God, the guy had to have cleansed his brain of Full House by leaning into some edgy comedy shit. But okay, I don't know. I'm here. I heard from one of my kids maybe that Bob Saget had a couple of skeletons in the closet, but I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah,
maybe
fine, whatever.
If so, I'm not being a denier if it's true, but I've never heard that.
You wanna just keep finding and looking, and I did finally find a hero in the Full House saga.
Was it the person who decided to cancel the show eventually?
Yeah, well, that obviously. But for me, the hero is the middle child.
Oh, okay.
First off, middle children. Well, I mean, Dennis Wilson was kind of. But so Stephanie, played by Jodie Sweetin, she has apparently on multiple occasions called out Candace Cameron for her bullshit about traditional marriage. She's been an open supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, that's true.
She was active, it says here, in something called Refuse Fascism, which was demanding the removal of the Trump administration through nonviolent street protests.
Yeah,
so
she's legit. I do know a little bit about Jodie Sweetin. It's hard. I wasn't thinking in terms of real world. I should have been though when you were talking about Candace Cameron. So yeah, and perhaps she was a B-52s fan at the time of this episode. I doubt it was her idea, but she does perform a little dance to Love Shack, which was performed by Jesse and the Rippers, not the B-52s.
Yeah. So anyway,
are we not going to talk about the cheerleaders?
Well, I mean, the main villain here is...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hold on.
We haven't introduced
the
him.
real villain.
Yeah.
Because here we are, we're waiting. Like, why are we watching this fucking episode? The Beach Boys aren't here. Like, come on. And then all of a sudden, who shows up? Mike fucking Love.
Yeah.
Not the Beach Boys, just Mike Love shows up to save the day. And,
to remind us who the real villain is.
And he reminds us immediately, is like, sure, I'll sing a song as long as you still got those cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Again, creepy. Like,
Creepy.
obviously he's
Just
saying
dirty.
something a little bit more creepy. Like, before he managed to make pizza creepy, but
Right.
now he's like, I'll sing Be True to Your School if you got some cheerleaders.
Ugh,
Exactly.
Smarmy.
Yeah.
Ugh,
and then he doesn't
gross.
even play the single version. He plays the stupid,
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I think there's some like rah-rah.
sis
Well, maybe it
with
was.
bottom.
I don't know. Regardless, my note on that is that this scene almost ruined that song for me.
Yeah.
He does also mention that we've had problems with drummers too. Like diving for sunken treasure problems or what? Like
Well, but he said something about Ringo. Ever since Ringo started touring, we've had problems with drummers.
'cause
I don't understand.
Didn't Ringo just do a song with them? Like,
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, he was on that stupid California Calling
yeah,
song
maybe
or
that's what
whatever.
it was.
Yeah. Anyway, he's the biggest villain, but there's a lot of villains here.
Yeah.
A lot of villains.
No, it's Mike Love.
Not nearly enough heroes, but
Yeah.
All right, good episode of that.
Dr. Love.
All right, other thoughts that we have on this episode here.
Yeah, really briefly, like just the awkwardness of the production. Like when Joey does his magic act, it's just like weirdly silent. There's like a little bit of music playing. Positive note, I really don't know how they did that trick. It was kind of impressive. She's in some kind of trick box where it looks like she's split in three. Pretty well done. I don't know. I need to look that up. I meant to look that up. The show's terrible. Has too many children. Jesus, the shopping cart song. That was terrible.
That shopping cart was. So I said that the dancing was awkward, but the shopping cart routine was even worse.
Really bad. Oh, why would there be a live audience for a 24-hour telethon?
Yeah. And there was one dude in the crowd that was really fucking into it. Every cutaway shot, he was so into it, and Yeah, I wanted to smack that guy.
Joey sucks as a comic.
He sucks as a comic.
So
Now,
bad.
here's
So
the thing.
He's doing sound
He
effects.
did make one decent point about bass players being lame, but
Hey!
he's not the best messenger for that.
Right.
Back off.
I have the only highlight was there's a joke about Gibbler with a unicycle. She's like, I can ride the unicycle at any time, and they're all Kimmy Gibbler is like the Meg on Family Guy. Like everyone just shits on her incessantly, like openly, and it's funny.
And not in a hot Carl way.
No good. And so Danny says, "No, fuck you, Kimmy. You're not going to ride that." But then they get a pledge, a $200 pledge if Kimmy can ride her unicycle. And so she gets on the unicycle, says, "Thanks, Mom." And then she says, "Saber dance and G, hit it, boys." And I thought that was a funny line. Saber dance. Like, people don't know even the name of that song, but she immediately knows it in the key, and like she's on the unicycle. That was funny. And that's what wakes Danny up. Danny, by the way, falls asleep during his own telethon.
Yeah, and I was like,
which, he hadn't gotten any sleep.
my question was, is Danny dead? Healthy people don't sleep that heavily. Like, they're trying to wake him
He
up.
had been up at that point for, almost 48 hours.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but I don't know. Like, he might need to go to a doctor once they finally get that dude woken up.
Forgot to put on shoes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I said, I had a note here, anybody donating to this telethon is an idiot. Yeah. And as soon as I wrote that note down, Mike Love showed up. So, I don't know, I felt like that was, made sense. Let's see. I have a note here. The Rickenbacker bass that was being played by one of the guys in the Rippers is the first non-hideous instrument that I've seen on the show so far.
I didn't even notice.
And then I have two other notes. Why am I watching this? And I hate this so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Let's put this one behind us.
Yep.
Because really, there's a lot to talk about in the last one. So we're gonna take one more. Probably two more breaks. We're gonna take another break and come back and talk about the third Beach Boys appearance. Back, and we are talking about the third Beach Boys appearance on Full House. I've waited so long to say this. The third one, episode 3 for us.
This is another season finale.
Another one, yeah, and it is a two-parter.
Two-part season finale of season 5.
It's called Captain Video.
For some reason, it's called Captain Video.
Didn't make any sense to me.
Right? Did
maybe
you ever figure that out?
Maybe it's a reference to The Stand. Captain Trips was the virus that wipes out most of humanity.
Yeah,
maybe that could be it.
That would have been a pretty...
Maybe this music video would have wiped out most of humanity.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. 2-part episode. Again, I hate my life. So right off the bat, Michelle's getting initiated into some sort of a cult.
Oh, the bee. What are they even? It's like a beehive. Yeah. It's like the Girl Scouts, but bee themed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's in a cult now. So that's a thing. I have a note. The dog is cool.
Yeah, the dog is pretty cool. Comet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although I also have in here that Jesse, although I think maybe this was Joey. I've kind of blocked it out of my mind. One of the other live-in guys attempts to feed the dog chocolate.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, but Jesse.
To be fair,
it was Jesse, yeah. Maybe we do need to reopen a Heroes and Villains.
To be fair, it did also have cheese and olives in it. Which makes it healthier for dogs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Michelle was trying to... Is it Michelle? Yeah. Trying to get her cooking
merit
badge.
That's right. Yeah, that's the
she made
central
pudding,
plot device here.
She put cheese and olives in it.
Yeah.
Right. Chocolate, no good for dogs.
We had the first appearance of Jesse's children.
Oh,
he has twins.
More children.
Now the house is getting fuller, and apparently he lives in the attic now.
It's a much nicer setup. I mean, because he's married with kids.
Yeah,
obviously still lives in the house with all those people, but
so
got an upgrade.
They've managed to convert the attic.
Yeah.
Because 3 full-time employed people can't afford living in San Francisco.
So you're talking 3 full-time employed people. So that would be Danny,
Joey,
Becky.
and Becky.
How is Joey employed?
Well, doesn't he?
He's like
isn't he the head of the TV show? The children's...
Yeah, he's got some kind of children's show with the puppet,
yeah.
the beaver puppet.
Weird.
This is
Yeah.
well, part of the episode is that he has to fire Jesse from the
isn't
show.
it a woodchuck? By
It's
the way,
a woodchuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
who cares? He has to fire Jesse because they're cutting back on the budget for that show. So Jesse decides he's going to go full on into the music business.
That's right. But yeah, we got Jesse and Becky living upstairs. They've got twin boys. I have a note here. Those babies have huge heads. Is Bruce the father?
Ooh. He does show up inexplicably later.
And who gets him to show up?
Ooh, it's
Becky.
Becky and her quote unquote home cooking.
Yep. I got a note on that. Becky's and not only it's Becky's home cooking. Another creepy Mike quote. I got that. But anyway, with the Beach Boys haven't shown up yet. But they're in the conversation.
Yes.
And
Because apparently they're going to be on the morning show again. Or for the first time.
they're going to finally make that long-awaited appearance. God willing, unless the fog kicks up again in San Francisco. There's no contingency plan for that.
There's another B plot where...
Well, hold on. So anyway, Jesse is like distraught.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have a job. He's been shopping his demo. Apparently, you just walk up to a record label and, you walk in and you give them your cassette and they listen to it right away.
Yep.
And then they call you your house after.
Yep.
That's how the music biz works.
Yep.
At least the music biz that's, centered in San Francisco. Anyway, so he's back at home lamenting the fact that he's been, turned down by yet another record label because his music fucking sucks. And he's talking about how he's such a loser and how the Beach Boys had their first hit when they were 18. And I've actually got to correct you on that, Jesse.
Right.
Carl was 14 when they had their first hit, and that makes you even more of a loser. So just putting that out.
You know what else makes you a loser, Jesse? Your gray hair.
Yeah. Yep.
That's part of the premise here, too.
Oh, that's right.
He's got a gray
He's 29.
hair. 29.
He's 29. He's got a gray hair. Yeah. I love so much how devastated he is about connecting the aging with his hair. And
well, that's his thing. Not the hair, right?
Yeah.
That's one of his quotes.
But it's glorious because then Dr. Love shows up.
Good point.
With his hat on.
Yep.
And clearly this dude's friggin' old because he's got.
Well, he was bald when he was when the Beach Boys had their first hit. Mike was already going bald, but yeah.
I was pretty great pot shot at how terrible Mike Love is because he's.
I don't think it was intentional, but
yeah. So anyway, the two best Beach Boys show up, of course, Mike and Bruce.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna
home cooking, which creepy.
Oh, so my note with Mike. So they're both ridiculously looking for one thing.
The dog on Bruce's shirt.
Yeah, Bruce is wearing a ridiculous shirt.
Big dog, right? Was that a thing in the 80s, 90s?
It almost looks like he's wearing some kind of puffy toupee or something. I don't think he is, but his hair is just poofed out enough to make his head that much bigger.
Yeah.
And then Mike is wearing some satin jacket or something like that. He looks creepy this time. And he is creepy just with a look at Becky as he walks in. He's just staring her down hey, baby.
Hey, he's a ladies' man. Guilty as charged.
He doesn't even have to say anything to be creepy.
He's a fucking creep. So then they go down to the basement. They're jamming.
Yeah, that's right. They're playing Forever, which I didn't remember if that song in the universe of the show was supposed to have been written by Jesse, but it's not.
It's not.
It's acknowledged a Beach Boys song.
It is acknowledged as a Beach Boys song. So you got Jesse and the Rippers. They're playing it. Their mullets flying everywhere,
hanging out with the Beach Boys.
They're hanging out with the Beach Boys, playing it. And not only is it a Beach Boys song, yes, it's a Dennis song.
Yeah.
It's never mentioned, by the way. In fact, after they play it and Jesse's like, oh, if I had a song like Forever, who is it who gives him permission?
It's Bruce.
It's Bruce.
It's you want it? You
can take it. You can have it. So apparently Bruce has the power to just give away Dennis's songs.
Yep.
That's something he could do as a fake Beach Boy. So, okay. That just happened. Hasn't Dennis been through enough?
Seriously.
I mean, yeah.
Then they sing a little Surfing USA.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And it's just like 15 seconds of it, and it's like, oh, Mike hasn't sung in a few minutes. He needs to sing just to remind everybody that he's a Beach Boy.
And the line about blonde hair or whatever, he like caresses DJ's hair when he says that line, which is not good.
Creep. Fucking creep.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to talk about the whole side plot of the Spanish the trip to Spain, but who cares?
I didn't really have much there.
Except the dog was wearing a hat at one point, like a Spanish kind of hat.
Yeah,
so,
the dog is cool. The dog is objectively the best person on the show.
Yeah. There's a horrific flashback montage.
Well, hold on. We'll get there. I'm going in order here.
Okay.
So Michelle is continuing to try to earn this fucking badge.
What is the next thing?
She's cooking on her own, and my statement here is: why is a 4-year-old cooking on her own? There are at least 4 adults living in this house. Get your shit together, people. Come on.
They've all got stuff going on.
No. There is no excuse.
The dog was watching her.
I guess.
What was her second dish?
I don't know.
Tuna cream.
Oh, ice cream and tuna.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, it becomes a clip show.
Well, it's just like one little montage, but it's like really, really hard to watch. It's Jesse remembering all his like, I guess, great moments in
and
the
moments.
But they're
business.
failures.
They're failures.
They are
low.
failures.
To which my thing here is take the hint, Jesse. You suck.
Right. Yes.
The best of those clips though comes from the 5th episode that I watched.
Oh God.
In which Jesse tries to rebrand his Jesse and the Rippers as a hard-edged, hard rock band.
Okay.
Oh,
the Vulture.
Angel.
And where he's like, suspended,
wings,
hanging from the ceiling and everything, and he's like flying, and so that's a classic.
Wow, that's the episode, huh?
Yeah.
My final note on this episode is this show sucks.
Yeah, well, yes, it's absolutely terrible. But yeah, that episode's great because Joey is the one who gets him stuck up there, and he can't get down. And so, like, he starts yelling at Joey, and the band's like repeating everything he says, like in gang vocal style.
Right.
Joey doesn't get him down. Joey can't get him down.
Get him down.
He's still up there, which is where the whole zip line thing comes from.
Right.
That's why he travels by zip line.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about part 2. Let's talk about the flip side.
Yeah.
Well, hold on though. Hold on.
Go.
Before this, the guy from the record label comes back, and he's super fucking psyched. Because, yes, this milquetoast cover of a 20-year-old Beach Boys song, in his words, blew him away. So he's got ideas. And now, part 2, we're going to see what happens. Now, part 2 actually opens up with this like bizarre breaking of the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah. They're going to show the highlights of the previous episode.
Yeah.
Which was literally like 3 scenes and like maybe 15 seconds of recap.
Yeah. Meaning
that the only worthwhile or important stuff to the story of the previous episode was like 3 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, part 2. Record label guy's got some ideas of how he can turn Forever into a smash.
Making it a dance song, a rap song.
Yeah. The Jess Man. Do the Jess Man.
There's some comment about, he can't dance. And then one of the middle girl says, I am a real good dancer. And then there is a callback to the previous Beach Boys episode where he says, this is not a telethon. Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Deep cut.
Deep cut.
Yep. Very deep cut. So that was impressive. The dance coach apparently is also a video director.
Yeah,
I think they just didn't want to pay 2 different actors to play that part. So that's a thing. So yeah, the whole idea here is that they're recasting Forever as this dance song with I don't know.
Oh, there was a MC Hammer reference at one point. He said something about when you think of who's the other one? He says Hammer and somebody else, and Jesse says, oh, I don't know, Funny Pants. That's what I think of, and we talked about MC Hammer earlier.
Yeah,
it's all meant to be.
So what do you guys think of the rebranding of Forever as a dance song? It's pretty good, right?
I mean, it's better than the fucking shitty straight cover, but it's still horrible.
The video.
The video is obviously
amazing,
incredible. But
I said this music video is offensive in at least 3 different ways. And as I'm typing that, then I saw 4. Yeah. I also said Dennis would be spinning in his grave if he wasn't buried at sea.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And then he walks off the set. And my question is, wait, did Jesse just steal the parachute pants? Because he walked off the set and he didn't come back and he was still wearing their pants. So that's a thing. I hope that in the next season, because we know this was the season finale, I hope that did get figured out.
Of course.
The pants were returned to their rightful owner.
Got to talk a little bit of the B plot here is that Michelle is... Joey's helping her sell lemonade, but she never has a lemonade stand outside.
No. It's just to the people who live in the house.
Yeah, and whatever. But she's saving money. She needs, I guess, apparently $8.50 to buy an ant farm. Yeah. Because all she has is a jar with a lollipop in it full of ants. Mm-hmm. And my note on that is fucking horrific.
Yeah.
That's an awful sight. I didn't like that at all.
No, I didn't either.
But you got to set that up because that plays into the plot later.
It does. Very importantly so, but we'll get there. So now, back at home, they're very worried. Jesse has just, he's had the choice that we all have to make of maintaining our artistic integrity or selling
by
out.
Recording a song that you didn't write.
And yes, he has chosen the honorable path of maintaining his artistic credibility here.
But he regrets it.
And he's worried, yeah. And one of his biggest concerns, and he says quite clearly, is how will the boys get into college? To which my note was, I'm sure Becky will figure out a way to get the kids into college.
Wow.
Yeah. So then there's some other stuff. We didn't really talk much about the other B plot of DJ wants to go to Spain.
Is that this? I thought that was the previous episode.
It's still going on.
Oh, it's still going on.
And I just had a comment here. There was a reference basically that apparently Spanish children carry flaming sticks. That's a thing, according to the show.
Well, see, that's just Danny coming up with a hilarious method of execution for the much hated neighbor Kimmy Gibbler.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know. My next three notes here are: this show sucks. This is taking too long. This is bullshit. I have that this is taking too long. That applies to this episode too. This of the podcast.
Hey, just stop it. We've only gone over an hour 3 times.
Jesus.
One was for Pet Sounds. The next was for Smile, and I think appropriately the third time is for Full House. It is on the level of Pet Sounds and Smile.
Come on.
Hold on. So I also made a note here. There's a lot of adult kid mouth-to-mouth kissing in this show.
Yeah.
And that makes me very uncomfortable.
Actually, and I think I noted there was one at the end of the first Beach Boys episode thing on stage. I think I saw like a kiss between Danny and one of the girls. But you're right. There was at least one other instance
kisses.
here. Yeah, no good.
Yeah. Not good. All right, so anyway, record label guy comes back. And
he knows he's got the upper hand because Jesse is basically come crawling back to him saying, sorry, I'll do it.
And he's there to get the pants.
He's there to get the pants.
Right? But it doesn't matter. Whatever the terms of the contract are, those pants need to fucking be returned.
That's right. But see, prior to his arrival, Michelle offers to finance... Jesse's, you should buy your own record label, and she's like, "I'll give you my info money."
Yeah,
which is $8.50,
$7.50.
I thought it was $8. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. I care. We will figure this out.
So he's like, "Oh, shut up, kid. You suck. Fuck you." And then this guy shows up, and then Jesse's like, "Wait a minute. I can just exploit what happened here and pretend that I got an offer." He did get an offer. He didn't say for what or from who. Said it was a 5-year-old company.
Backed by a farm.
Enough to buy a farm was the offer.
Yep.
And so, of course, the record label guy gets all nervous.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to lose that Beach Boys cover.
Right.
That nobody else could have possibly done. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then he gets the upper hand, or Jesse does, and then...
Gets to put his foot down for artistic integrity.
Yeah.
And then finally...
The irony.
We get to see the final vision because what he says is, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it my way.
Yeah.
So we get Jesse's way, and it sounds like it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision.
Jesus. Hurry. Fast.
That's right. It's time for Sound and Vision, where we discuss all the things aesthetic using scale provided to us by David Bowie. If we really like some Glenn, we call it a... That's right. David Bowie's masterpiece. Tim, we don't like
Never
something
Let Me
called
Down.
Never Let Me Down. Which David Bowie definitely let us down. And if we're
Let's
like
dance.
comfortable middle
Yeah,
ground,
yeah.
let's dance.
Okay, the whole video is Never Let Me Down. Move on.
All right. We have got to talk about this
he's
fucking
on
video.
There are like
bed.
it's like the same shot of
A
these
bed
twins.
in the desert.
The twins.
There's like babies.
So,
What in
so
the
fucking
holy-
creepy.
Carl is there though. At least like there's one more Beach Boy makes an appearance. I think probably
It's
Al too. I don't know.
Never Let Me Down.
Oh yeah, my note was so my notes are Carl cameo in the video. My next note is I'm sad. Next note is too many babies in the video.
The baby thing was so
creepy.
Cursed image. I said I think the culturally offensive video was a better idea than the actual one. I'm sure that in the spring of '92, in the wake of Nirvana, this hair metal version of Forever would have been massive. It's just so fun. It's the worst thing I've ever watched.
So bad.
Okay.
It was so bad that I had to watch it 4 times.
Oh Jesus. Okay,
It's a Never Let Me Down. If there ever was a Never Let Me Down.
okay, good episode of that.
Yeah.
Real
All
quick,
right.
the context of the video and the show is that he is on MTV.
Yeah.
Doing an interview with Martha. What's her name?
Martha Quinn.
Quinn. And they toss to the video, and that's the video. And then
And
afterward,
it's
he says,
fucking glorious.
It's horrible. Afterward, he says, that was the best 2 minutes of my life or something like that. And then Becky says, hey, it's like this weird sex joke at the end of the episode.
Yeah, that was a weird sex.
Getting edgy at the end there.
All right. You got to
Best
throw
2
something out there
minutes
for the adults.
Yes, for once.
Yeah. Great show. Do we rate this 3-episode arc
Yeah.
on our scale?
It's a mic.
That's a mic.
No. No.
Oh, no, but, I mean, to be fair, we're not going to stumble across another sitcom with Beach Boys cameos that rates lower than this.
We won't, but we also won't rate one that's higher than
Jesse
this.
and the Rippers do make an appearance on Fuller House, the
Jesus.
reboot, where they play Forever.
Good.
Just saying.
Why did we
there's-
not watch this?
I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So, right, let's
yeah.
take a break and look at it.
It's a
I'm going to give it a David Marks.
Wow.
Lots of childhood nostalgia.
The only original Beach Boy not to show up.
Maybe it's a Manson. Some mass suicide needs to happen, or mass
Nice.
killing needs to happen.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right, one last break and we'll be right back to wrap it all up. That is it. A great time was had by all. The house was very full, and got fuller, and even more full.
I gotta do a palate cleanse and go watch a bunch of episodes of Empty Nest.
Thank God it's finally.
I get it.
over.
I get it. All right. Well, hey, we're back to Beach Boys albums.
Thank
so
God. Wait.
things are gonna get better, guys.
be-
We will never ever have to hear that version of Forever again. I can promise you that.
I'll be walking,
For a couple of weeks.
No.
down the
yeah.
Champs-Élysées listening to, eating some French bread, some croissants.
Croissant. All right. Well, hey, we'll be back next week. We're going to be talking about Summer in Paradise, which I think is pretty much what any
that
Beach
sounds
Boys summer is.
promising.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's got to be good.
Paradise.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch you then.
Still sad.